Good afternoon, ma'am. I am the first presenter for the lesson 7 with the topic Air Quality Supervision. And under this lesson, we will learn about the atmosphere, air pollutants, sources, effect, and how to restore air. So first, let us have the learning outcomes under this topic. So the first learning outcomes is at the end of the lesson, students can identify chemical nature of gases in the air, explain the role of the atmosphere in energy balance, describe the characteristics of the layers of the atmosphere, explain the chemical changes that affects us locally and globally, discuss the sources of air pollution and the air pollutants, illustrate the effects of air pollutants on health and in the environment, discuss the methods that are applied to control and prevent air pollutions, and derive a clean air implementation plan. So now let's start with the atmosphere. So atmosphere composed of a blanket of gases and protects us from the blast of heat and radiation coming from the sun. So we know that atmosphere is important in all life forms in Earth. Without it, life will not exist, right? So it contains the different gases like oxygen. Oxygen is what we need and other animals for respiration. And carbon dioxide where plants get to manufacture their food. So we also have here the chemical natures of gases. So the chemical nature of gases in air is first the composition of dry air, air without water, and it includes the nitrogen, the solvent, and oxygen, the solute only. So the dry air contains of 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, 0.04% of carbon dioxide and other gases. So the nitrogen can be produced from the processes like volcanic eruptions and biological processes such as nitrogen fixation by a certain bacteria, and a small amount of nitrogen is produced by lightning. Many organisms benefit from this, like the plants, which is essential for their growth, and key components of proteins, nucleic acids, and chlorophyll. For animals, they indirectly benefit through the nitrogen present in plants which they consume as food, and the oxygen which we inhale or we breathe in and it is produced through photosynthesis also. And the 0.04% carbon dioxide, the primary consumer of this is the plants through the process of photosynthesis, and the other gases which include the argon, neon, helium, methane, nitrous oxide, and other gases produced by human activities. The amount of water vapor in air varies with the location from 0 to 4%. In the cold, dry Arctic region, water vapor can account for less than 1% of the atmosphere, while in humid tropical regions, water vapor can account for almost 4% of the atmosphere. So now let's proceed to the atmosphere and energy balance. So the Earth's atmosphere can be thought of as a heat engine powered by the sun. When the sun hits a given gas molecules at the Earth's surface, the gas molecules rises adiabatically to the atmosphere's outer layer. Our gas molecules will then cool off and at constant pressure, and it will sink adiabatically to the Earth's surface. The cycle repeats. Just like a car engines need fuel to run, Earth's atmosphere is powered by the sun's heat. It warms the molecules near Earth's surface. The warm molecules become less dense, and it is due to the process called adiabatic expansion. where the gas doesn't exchange heat with its surrounding as it rises. As the gas molecules travel upward, it becomes cooler. Once they reach the cooler atmosphere, the cooler air gets heavy and it starts to sink back down towards the surface. The energy balance is the balance between the incoming energy from the sun and outgoing energy from the earth. The sun released energy and emitted as ultraviolet energy and shortwave light. Once it reaches the earth, some are reflected back to space by clouds, some are absorbed by the atmosphere, and some are absorbed in the earth's surface. So, since the sun constantly beams energy towards us, some bounces off from the clouds, some gets absorbed by the air, and the rest warms the cloud. So this heat from the cloud eventually radiates back out to space, keeping Earth's temperature balanced. So now let's proceed to the layers of the atmosphere. So the first layer we have here, the troposphere. So this troposphere is the Earth's lowest atmospheric layer. It is about 12 kilometers from sea level. Here, the air is denser and it is where we experience all the elements that make up weather: pressure, temperature, humidity, clouds, and wind. And it is also where local air pollution lingers. This is also the prime location for the clouds to form because 99% of the water vapor is in this region, and most of the aeroplanes fly in the troposphere. So next we have the stratosphere. So high above this troposphere lies the troposphere. It is about 50 kilometers from the ground. This region is known for its calm de menor. The thin air mass creates minimal turbulence, making it smooth ride for airplanes. The ozone layer resides here. The ozone serves as the Earth's shield against the UV radiation given by the sun. Next is the mesosphere. So the mesosphere is about 50 and 90 kilometers high. It is a cold place with temperature dropping to negative 90 degrees Celsius. Most meteor burn up here due to the increasing air density. So in the mesosphere, there has more single atoms like hydrogen and helium. Next is the thermosphere. So the thermosphere is around 90 kilometers above from the Earth's surface. Here, air is so thin, so it's basically impossible to breathe. This layer is bombarded by cosmic radiation, which creates a much higher concentration of ions. Due to the energetic collision of particles, the temperature can soar to 1,500 degrees Celsius or even higher. So this zone is a popular spot for spacecraft. The International Space Station orbits here, and it is also a stage for breathtaking auroras, the colorful northern and southern lights. So the last layer we have here is the ionosphere. So this ionosphere is a series of regions in parts of the mesosphere and thermosphere. This zone is filled with electrical charged atoms and molecules called ions. So these ions are created by strong solar and cosmic radiation. The ionosphere plays a big role in long-distance communication by reflecting radio waves. And another information is that ionosphere is confined in the inner portion of exosphere, while exosphere is the outermost edge of the atmosphere. Beyond exosphere is our space or outer space.